The following program is a production of Pioneer Public Television.
In this episode of Postcards.
And they walked outside ceremoniously as they were pouring the cement for the sidewalk out front, and they dropped the keys in the cement and said, "Here's to never closing."
The story of country school it's an American story ingrained in our history.
I love taking something that's been unchanged for hundreds and hundreds of years and being able to connect with that.
We have between 45 and 50 actual performances a year, and that's an ambitious program.
This program on Pioneer Public Television is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4, 2008. Additional support provided by Mark and Margaret Yekel Julien in honor of Shalom Hill Farm, a nonprofit rural education retreat center in a beautiful prairie setting near Windham in southwestern Minnesota. ShalomHillFarm.org. The Arrowwood Resort and Conference Center, your ideal choice for Minnesota resorts offering luxury townhomes, 18 holes of golf, Darling Reflection Spa, Big Splash Water Park, and much more. Alexandria, Minnesota, a relaxing vacation or great location for an event. Explore alex.com. Easy to get to, hard to leave.
Lang's Cafe has been serving award-winning homemade food since 1955. Find out what keeps people coming back 24/7 at this family-owned diner.
My first memory of Lang's was French fries. Coming here and having French fries, because back when I was 9 years old, when we bought this establishment, French fries were pretty uncommon. Oh, they were fabulous. The only thing that was better were the malts. My father and his twin brother in 1955 bought what was then an established restaurant on this location called Spotty's Cafe. It had been here since 1931. Purchased it, and I'm sure because of their ownership of the 24-hour gas station and truck stop, basically a truck stop at the time, they decided that this too would be open 24 hours a day. I think it was a ceremonious type occasion where they did the second remodeling and addition and put in the new doors. They took the keys for those doors and they walked outside ceremoniously as they were pouring the cement for the sidewalk out front, and they dropped the keys in the cement and said, "Here's to never closing." Have we ever closed? Well, we've thought about it, but no, we haven't. Well, even during our remodelings, we kind of laugh about that because we've gone through some pretty major remodelings through the years. New ceilings, everything. We try to do it at night where we're less intrusive to our customer. However, I do remember a customer who sat at a certain spot every morning for his breakfast, and we were putting in a new ceiling, and they were working above his head, and he just covered his food and kept on eating. Any small business needs the core of customers that keep your doors open.
As they say, very good. Yeah,
I've been coming to Lang since I was 10 to 12. Yeah, I come pretty much every day. Oh yeah, we play dice, and I'm usually the winner. It's a very nice place to be. You can depend on Lang's.
How I ended up back here is kind of one of those things that you don't plan. I think within a week of getting my notice that I wasn't wanted back at school, I ended up in Vietnam. The joke is I spent 3 years, 9 months, 29 days, 14 hours, 30 minutes, and 12 seconds in the Navy. Enjoyed every second of it. After getting out of the Navy, I came back, and then I became a serious student. I was in college. I was actually a senior. I was up studying for a final exam at 4 in the morning, And my mother called me and said, I think your dad had a stroke. He was 55 years old. And we had this business, the restaurant, as well as a small manufacturing company. I found that running two businesses with about 30 employees was more than just a part-time job. It was a full-time endeavor. I'm very blessed. I have excellent employees. I always say that I give them a lot of credit, because when I came in, all I knew is how to eat and enjoy food. And they taught me through the years all the rest that I needed to know. So I give them a lot of the credit. I have a lot of long-term employees. My late-night waitress, Darlene, started working for my father in 1968 and is still here.
Yes, I've been working at Lang's here for at least 35 years, and it's in between 35 to 40. I've always been a people person, and I do care a great deal about people, and that is one of the things about this job that just makes it a pleasurable thing for me. And sure, there's not so much fun things in every job you do, but there's enough good things in the job that, and it's flexible, it's convenient, and so forth for me. Over the years, it was just made a really good supplement to my income, and so I just kept it up.
I enjoy every facet of this business, so and no one facet more than others. Well, I shouldn't say that, because I probably enjoy my customer the most. Well, happy birthday. I'd come out and sing, but I really don't want the place to empty out. And you would turn red, right? Yeah, you'd be embarrassed. Okay. Being out front, talking to the customer, relating to the customer. I also enjoy going back and washing dishes. I enjoy helping the cooks if they get behind and cook. I enjoy going out and helping the baker. My philosophy is that if the only thing you're in something for is for the money, you're missing the enjoyment factor. Because my dad had an old philosophy: money is only good for one thing, and that's to spend. So really, if all you get out of your business is the money you take home to live on, you're missing the day-to-day enjoyment. The reason behind doing everything fresh baked, fresh made, homemade, is that we want everything to taste different than the place down the street. We want to have our own signature on everything. Well, I don't know how people get up that early in the morning, but the bakers start at 4 in the morning. Usually by 9 o'clock, the pies are completed and brought in and cut and served. The bread baker, actually there's one fellow who comes in late in the afternoon and will prep breads and breadsticks and buns and so on, and then they will go in the retarder, the cooler, and then they're baked off right away first thing in the morning when he comes in at 4 in the morning. A lot of our recipes are from workers who have worked here. However, the sour cream raisin pie and our caramel rolls, which are two of our people favorites, are recipes that were my great-grandma's, my mom's mom, and they ended up here through my grandma's sister worked for my dad as a pie baker for a number of years. And we continue them exactly as they were. Receiving national acclaim or acclaim gives you that impetus to maintain what you're doing, because there are days when you just think, wow, what is it really all worth it? You know, the stringent guidelines that we follow and trying to make everything from scratch and so on. The first food critics that were here were Jane and Michael Stern. They do the roadfood.com and a number of books. They've written a number of books. Actually, I've seen him on the A&E channel. Their reaction to our food was just tremendous. They rated our sour cream raisin pie as the best ever. You know, it's not what you say about yourself, but it's what other people say about you that really give you the right to shine or brag. Or I don't like to use the word brag. I don't think that's right either, because we don't. Because I brag about my employees. They are the ones who make it happen. I think the reason I keep it going the same way is because I probably don't know any better, or I don't know anything else. but I do enjoy it.
Visit Pioneer.org for more information on postcards and other Pioneer productions. Find out about the Country Schoolhouse Project at the Pipestone County Museum and hear stories from a former student.
We are at the Pipestone County Museum in Pipestone, Minnesota. Well, right now we're in the Country School exhibit. This came about because we had, in 2012, it came to light that the last country school in Pipestone County had closed 50 years before, 1962. We researched each country school. There were, at one time, 73 districts in Pipestone County, and various things happened to these schools. Sometimes the doors closed and the buildings sat there, and there are a few schools today that are still standing on their original site. Another thing that might have happened is that they were auctioned off, and that includes everything in the building and the building itself. And a lot of these buildings were moved to nearby farms, became the pigsty, or the granary is very common. And some of these schools are actually residences today. As part of this project, we did a couple different things. We have the exhibit. We also had a sign marker project as part of this, where we marked the location of each country school with a sign marker that tells the name of the number of the district and the years it was in operation. And the other part of the project we did was we put together this book, Rural Schools of Pipestone County. And in this, we have all the information we were able to find on each district, such as when it was formed, maybe if we had any information on it during its operation, and when it closed, and what happened to the building, and maybe where the kids were consolidated to. This exhibit, we have the school desks in here. We have some world maps and that used to be in the schools. I'll have those pull-down maps. We have a drinking fountain that is very interesting. It's a crock that you had to pump water from the well into a bucket, bring that in, dump it in the crock, and then it actually had a drinking fountain fixture on it, so it would run up and the waste would go down into a bucket. That's pretty neat. I do like to show people the map that we have of Pipestone County, where we marked the location of all the schools. We had a number of people assisting on this project. As I mentioned, the community. We had a great response from the community. It seems to be a topic that resonates with a lot of people. A lot of people, if they didn't go to country school, their parents might have gone to country school and they remember hearing about it. Morris Bickford was a big help in this project. He went to District Number 12 and he shared his story with us, and he turned in some photographs.
I helped with the country school project at the museum. We're at District 3, Pipestone County School District Number 3, and this was the first school built in Pipestone County. Fortunately, we were able to preserve it. There were probably 70 of these in the county at one time, and there are about 3 left. They've been closed now for a little over 50 years. About 3 or 4 times a year, there's people from different schools in the county bring kids in here. Usually 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, maybe up to 5th grade. And I'm a country kid for a couple hours, and I tell them about my country kid experiences. That's why I'm dressed like this, because country kids dress this way. Boys did. Girls had their own outfits, and we liked this. We had lots of pockets, so we were collectors. Right now I've got a pocket knife, I've got a watch that don't work, I've got a bullet I found on the road. And we were finders and keepers. If we found it, it was ours. Even if we knew who it belonged to, once in a while we might get it back to them. Depends on how we got along with them for the next few days.
One of the ones that sticks in my mind, just because of where kind of our culture has gone to from maybe 1960 to today, is there were several memories of drowning gophers in detail, and that it kind of surprised me, but it was all part of going to school. Another one I really liked, a story that I liked that we got, was there were some kids that rode their horse to school. And some of the schools had a barn where they could park their horse for the day. But one of the stories that sticks in my mind is the horse that the boy would ride his horse to school. He'd get off, he'd go into the school, and the horse would turn around and go home by itself. I think that's pretty fun. We do use this exhibit in our school tours to try to have kids today connect a little bit with what it might have been like to go to school even 50, 60 years ago. And we talk about walking to school. Some kids walk to school today. Some of them ride their bikes. None of them ride their horse. So that's fun with the kids.
I think it's something that happened in our area, in our county particularly, and I think it's a nice gesture that we remember these schools were here. And the people that attended them are getting kind of rare. So just for the sake of history, I think it's kind of a nice project.
Being not in the far history, but as recent as 50 years ago, allows the generation today, the kids today, to really connect to this country school generation, because it's not that long ago. It's still living. They know the people that went to country school, and I think the kids that went to country school, for the most part, it's fond memories to them. The story of country school it's an American story. It's really ingrained in our history. And finding this connection in Pipestone County, it's the story of America.
Do you use Facebook, Twitter, or other social media? Connect with us to get immediate access to behind-the-scenes videos, previews, and other postcards and Pioneer news. Email us, postcards@pioneer.org. Hear the relaxing melodies of Bruce Weigel's flute and see what makes his Native American crafts so special.
For me, when I play the flute, it's about really getting just into my heart more than into my head. I try and turn my brain off and just open my heart up and allow the energies that are around me to just kind of flow through me and express themselves through the music. A lot of times I'll close my eyes and I just tend to kind of drift away even when I play. I don't read music at all. I strictly play what comes to me, kind of guided by spirit, I guess, in a way. So this is my very first flute, the one that I told you the story about. It's a very simple little flute. You can see some of them get a little more elaborate and have little extra carvings on them and things, but I've looked at some flutes in my time that were really pretty and didn't have a very good voice when you play them. So I always liked this little flute. Very simple, but it has a really beautiful tone. usually tell people the native blood in me isn't maybe the most blood that I have in me, but I consider it the best blood that I have. Keeps me well grounded, helps me kind of keep things in perspective. And it probably wasn't until I was maybe in my early 20s, a couple of my older siblings were in their late 20s, early 30s, and it was really one of my sisters that first started asking some of my aunts and uncles about, about our heritage and things, and slowly some of the stories started coming out about there being this native blood from my great-great-grandmother, who we have like no records of. It's not anything that I have documentation, or I don't have the USDA certified card that says I'm an Indian, but I have the stories. I've been doing artwork for probably 25 years or so. Started out making dream catchers and then mounting dream catchers on pipestone, and things are always kind of evolving and changing. I love working with pipestone, and I wanted to try and find a way to utilize some of the stone that a lot of the carvers of pipes and the little animal carvings, they don't really use a lot of this stone. A lot of fractures and cracks in it and things. But I think the energy, I know the energy of that stone is still there. So I wanted to find a way to maybe bring some of the stories and the pipestone into people's lives. And I wanted something that was still somewhat functional. So I, just in the last maybe 2 months or so, I've had 2 different people offer me diamond willow, and I just started working with it, and this is just kind of what grew out of more of a playful process, I guess. I love playing flute because it keeps me grounded. The native flute is such a mellow, such a meditative, and it can actually be a very healing sound. In all the years that I've been playing, any place I've ever gone to play, I've never had somebody like get out and walk out on me. I've never been playing in the park just for my own amusement and had somebody walk by and go, "That's kind of annoying. We're like sitting over here trying to enjoy nature. Would you please stop that?" Normally when I'm out playing, people are drawn to the music, kind of the way I was drawn to the person who made the first flute that I ever received. And I just think it's such a gift. I love taking something that's been unchanged for hundreds and hundreds of years and being able to connect with that. I think it connects me to my past, and I think it's a way for me to share with people a way of kind of connecting to their past, to kind of slow down a little bit. You hear flute music and it's just like this big yeah, we all kind of need that from time to time, to just shut our brains down and open our hearts up.
Have you missed a show you'd like to see? Pioneer On Demand has all of your favorite productions available to watch online at your convenience, including past episodes of Postcards. The Pipestone Performing Arts Center has been bringing great performances to Pipestone for over 20 years. Hear a special performance by the Hunts.
This building was built as the Ferris Grand Opera House in 1898. There was a group of people in Pipestone that would really like to do community theater. Back in 1947, there was a band director, Al Opland, who started the Pipestone Male Chorus, and we really needed a place, where we could have a home. And so that's why the Performing Arts Center was built, was remodeled and built. The people that really actually made it go was a banker in the community and a city administrator. If it were not for those two people, we would not have a performing arts center. And then, of course, the donors. We started a fundraising in order to do this remodeling. We raised, in probably a year or so, we raised probably just a little over $300,000 to remodel this space. The style of the architecture of the inside, and actually it's pretty much just the lobby, is Art Deco. An interesting thing that we have one of the only artifacts, I believe, in Minnesota from the old mansion of the Watkins over at Winona, a fireplace that was in the original mansion before it was torn down. This evening, there is an indie folk group from the Chesapeake Bay area. They're called the Hunts, and originally there are 7 siblings, so they will be coming and performing. We are very fortunate, being a small community of like 4,500 people, to actually have a facility like this. It's truly amazing. I would say that the lights are on in this theater probably 250 days out of the year. That is people using it to rehearse the actual shows. We have between 45 and 50 actual performances a year, and that's an ambitious program for a small like this, a small theater and a small community. And actually, it's a matter of quality of life.
This program on Pioneer Public Television is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. Additional support provided by Mark and Margaret Yackel-Julien in honor of Shalom Hill Farm, a nonprofit rural education retreat center in a beautiful prairie setting near Windham in southwestern Minnesota. ShalomHillFarm.org. The Arrowwood Resort and Conference Center, your ideal choice for Minnesota resorts offering luxury townhomes, 18 holes of golf, Darling Reflection Spa, Big Splash Water Park, and much more. Alexandria, Minnesota, a relaxing vacation or great location for an event. Explore alex.com. Easy to get to, hard to leave.